What's up, everyone? It's What's the Odds with Steve Rannazzisi. And if you ain't black, you ain't listening to What's the Odds. That's right. We're back. That's right. It's the number one show in the African-American community. Do you know that?
You got to clear these catchphrases before you put them on air, Steve.
This is legal. I talked to LegalZoom.com this morning. Them online on the search bar. Say, are we the number one podcast in the African-American culture? And they said yes. So take that, Charlemagne the God. Anyway, it's May 27th, I think, Wednesday, and we're all at our respective places. I don't know where everyone is. I guess you guys are back in LA. I'm in New York, and it is finally nice out here. We're getting good weather, and we put a garden in the backyard, so we're hoping to get some stuff. But we also have a hedgehog that's made its home underneath our shed, and now since I've been back, we have two boys with BB guns. So,
wow. So the hedgehog's not long for this world?
The hedgehog is like I'm the hedgehog's father. I don't think it's a hedgehog. What's a groundhog? Hedgehogs have those spikes, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking of, right?
Groundhog, gopher, maybe it's a mole.
It's like a fat mole, gopher, groundhog thing. You know, it's got a big fat body, and it's been well treated. It's had a lot of treats around here. So it's eaten garbage, it's eaten a lot of stuff, but underneath its shed, it's where it's made our shed, it's where it's made its home. And now we have the garden right next to the shed, so we've screened it in. Now, I didn't tell them. I told them never, ever, ever. No, on any sort of living thing ever, okay? And they got that. And now they've sensed, because I've been talking about the garden and I'm worried about the hedgehog gopher dog thing, whatever it is. And I'm not going to say which one of my sons, but they gave me the, hey, Dad, do you want us to take care of it kind of thing? Like, do you want this thing to never be a worry when you wake up in the morning and all your tomatoes are gone or all your squash? And I of course said, we will do no harm to this hedgehog. Dinosaur/rodent that this is living there. But one vegetable goes missing, and then it's a different story. Then we change the game. Then we flip it on its head. Then I'm the boss, okay? And not saying I'm...
Your wife's going to go clean one of their sheets, and they're just going to have a bunch of tomatoes under their pillow. Dead hedgehog on your porch.
Already my dog just dove head into it like it was a pile of meat. We hadn't even finished like putting the fence. We were just starting to get it up, and he dove into the whole thing and he just started playing it, like trying to rip it all up. He thought it was like a playpen. So look, we put a garden in, and I hope that I will get a salad or maybe a pot of sauce out of what we get out of it before we have to head back to Los Angeles. But I'm excited that we did that. It's finally nice enough to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's kind of the New York fill-in. That's all we've been doing. Have you guys been? From what I heard, the beaches are open. Has anyone gone to a beach?
No, not in 5 years.
I went in 5 years. Wow.
Well, we went to the beach in La Jolla. What are you talking about?
Oh yeah, that beach. I'm talking the LA beach. I'm talking.
No,
okay.
The LA beaches are only open if you keep moving. If you're like, you can't like sit on them and like sunbathe, but you can in parts of Orange County. So we went down to like Dana Point and sat on the beach down there for a few hours last week.
Bring a blanket, bring some food, and you can hang out there for a while. Do you have to wear a mask?
No. Well, I don't think so. No.
Did you wear a mask?
I did not.
No. Okay.
There was like nobody. We were like alone on the beach. There was like found a little alcove in some rocks, and just like we just needed to scream into the void for a second. That is the ocean.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I went to the beach last night because we're 2 miles from Cedar Beach, which is like it's the Long Island Sound, so it's facing Connecticut. But yeah, we watched the sunset, and it's the same sort of rules that you have to keep moving. You can't sit. But we took the kids on a walk. We threw rocks into to try to hit the buoys and stuff. But yeah, just to see the ocean and get outside and not feel like you are trapped probably feels good. But I'm like I know here they just started today like Long Island open. So now like Jones Beach and all those places are open, and you can bring a blanket and hang out on the beach but you have to be social distance. Like, I was just wondering what the situation, like, when it gets warmer, not that it has to get really any warmer in LA for people to go to the beaches, but like big holiday weekends, do you think they will be packed? Do you think Santa Monica Beach will be packed?
It was this past weekend.
It was. I thought you couldn't sit on Santa Monica Beach yet.
No, it was crazy packed in Venice Beach, and people were getting tickets left and right. And they just announced on Twitter before I hopped on here that LA County's opening all of the churches, shopping centers, pools, and drive-in movie theaters.
Yeah, so you guys are basically like phase 2 already.
Yeah.
Which is great. That's like that's what we are here. It's just, that's livable. It makes life a little bit easier when you can go, I mean, I'd like to be able to go to a bar and have a drink, but
Same.
if you can do it outside with some friends, it's
Wait,
probably
so all those things in LA
thing.
that are opening, I assume you still have to like wear masks and stuff when you're there.
Yeah, they're saying still wear a mask. Everything's going to be half capacity. And then I'd also heard something, I don't know the details of this, but apparently they're going to start allowing people to sell alcohol on the streets in LA County just so people can have a drink.
Yeah, they've been
I hope
doing that already.
stays past if everything does go back to normal. I hope the open container laws go away.
I think they will.
You can't give us that and then take it back away.
We should do that. We should ask, like, look, all right, we did what you guys wanted. We kept inside, but we're going to take a little something back on this one. Open containers, no mas, okay? We drink where we want. And also, nobody's allowed to drive on Sundays anymore. It's a walking day only. That's
I agree. I like that.
No driving on Sundays.
Unless well, hang on a second, car. Steve. I got to get to church.
Hey, you got to get to church. You can get like they used to. Get the horse and the saddles, and everyone ride on down to the local church. Unless your car is 50 years old or older, then you can drive your car around. Antique cars, those people got to drive it around. Fine, no problem. I don't mind seeing Leno on the road with a car that's like, wow, but everybody else has got to fucking walk. Those two things I think we take back. But look, I'm just happy that people can go outside and like hang out, because the beach in the summer is, I think, necessary for almost everyone except for Lucas's skin. And so, I'm just happy that you guys are able to do it. I didn't know what the rules were or how they're going about it over there.
No, I've noticed the mask law, people are really skirting that one too.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, they're sick of it. Everywhere I go in the city, I go on walks every day. I would say probably 20% of people are wearing masks now. A week ago, it was probably 50.
I've seen the same in Burbank.
They're doing like commercials now. Do they have commercials running for you guys? Like, wear the mask. It's cool. You got to wear the mask to keep everyone safe. Safe. Like that kind of, like they're making, like even Governor Cuomo is like, look, forget about it. You got to wear, like he's putting a catchphrase. They have signs like, you're not wearing a mask, forget about it. So,
that would stink to be like Cuomo or Garcetti, because you always have to wear a mask. You can't be outside for a second without wearing a mask. Otherwise, someone will take a picture of you, send it out.
You have to wear a mask at all times. Do you think Cuomo, I asked, do you think Cuomo's had sex since this thing started?
Absolutely.
He's a single man. That means him going out, courting someone, or maybe, I don't know if he's got a girlfriend, but he seems very focused on the task at hand.
Who's been on TV more than him since this started? He is
not many
absolutely smashing.
Do you think Trump has had sex since this thing started?
I don't think Trump has had sex since his presidency started.
That's a good question.
Oh, he does. He's taking it. He takes it once a quarter.
I bet Cuomo had.
What's a fiscal quarter? Hello?
It's part of his year.
It's just stimulus package.
Whatever it is, however he dives it in. Oh God! But what I'm saying is, I don't think he would. If the day came when Melania was like, "Yes, you can do it," I don't think he's gonna be like, "No, put that aside. I've got work to do." Like I think he's taking, at every.
You think Melania is offering that though?
Yeah.
Look, maybe he looks. As far as leadership goes, look. This is never the most leadership role he's had. He's actually in charge of a pandemic, so maybe that's what gets her wet. Or she just knows like it's all coming to an end, and she just like knows first, and that gets her off. I don't know. Something's got to get her to not like. commit suicide, like in the White House. Like, what first lady? I know there've been several depressed first ladies. I've heard that there were books written about seriously depressed. Lincoln's wife did not look like she was a gem. She did not. She looked very depressed. Sally Field was very upset in that whole movie. I watched it with Ari and Simone, stoned to the gills in Midtown. And we said she was unbelievable, and she didn't kill herself. So if Melania did that, that would say something. That would be the only thing I think that Trump would then go, maybe I'm not the best person in the world. But I don't think she'll do it. I don't think she has the balls. This has gone way, way off the rails.
Way off topic.
Trying to have your Kathy Griffin moment.
Not really. What do I care? What? First of all, what do I care? Second of all, nobody is listening. Third of all, if somebody dared pass this around and it became something, it would be the best thing that's happened to me / us. Not well, me and Lucas, really, probably for the last.
It'd be
5
like
years.
the second best thing that's happened to me on this show.
Mm-hmm.
You've had a lot of big moments on this show, dude. You won $1 million because of the show and because of me, which we both stated is true. You got engaged, and then I gave you a gift of giving you the winning lottery ticket over there. You know, a lot of big things have happened to you because of me, because of the show. So I'm just saying, if a clip of this went viral for whatever reason, maybe I'm on Tucker Carlson tomorrow, you know, defending myself with a bow tie on. I don't know. It would be the worst thing in the world, is all I'm saying. And you know what? It's not just betting and sports. It's something different for us that people might not, you know. By the way, I want to apologize to Casper. Okay? He doesn't live in Sweden. He lives in Denmark. Do you know those are two completely different countries?
Very different waffles.
All considered Scandinavia, which I did a little bit of research. You're welcome, Casper. I love watching this guy. The next day, he watches us in his like living room in a beautiful fucking Denmark, Danish living room with wood, Norwegian wood. And so he rides bikes and listens to heavy metal, and he loves us. And I got his country wrong. And maybe he's into Melania Trump killing herself in the White House as a you know, a possible conspiracy theory. He listens to all the All Things Comedy podcasts. Okay, where was I? Brenton is lucky to have been part of this and to know me. I think that's what we were trying to get to, right? What are you drinking out of, a fucking soup bowl, Lucas?
Yeah,
What was that?
I got this in France.
Oh my God!
I got my French press coffee. This is my new. I'm a changed man. When I
love everything that's happening right now. I love it. That bowl / cup is, first of all, it's beautiful. Mm-hmm. You could tell it's really, really nice. It probably keeps the coffee nice and warm.
It does.
But it is like it would be the exact same thing if I had a cat. I would feed my cat their milk and water, like milk and food in. Do you feed cats milk?
I mean, that's probably what this bowl was used for before I got it. I bought it used. This isn't a new.
I've never even been to Paris.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no.
Bought it on eBay.
Attached to this?
No.
God, damn, dude.
No, it just has the Eiffel Tower on the side of it, if you can see.
Yeah, it's awesome. Go. I love it, but it is big.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I could swim in that.
Big.
Yep.
You can. That's a baby pool.
It's a kiddie pool. Now I'm looking at. Yeah.
Go ahead.
I'm looking at the. Speaking of Trump, I'm looking at the odds. Now Cuomo was.
For presidency?
Yeah. He was Cuomo's high point.
I thought you meant to kill themselves in the White House again. I thought we were going back to that. Okay.
Yeah, no, Cuomo is plus 6,000 now. He was plus 5,000 a week ago, and then plus 4,000 a week before that. So it looks like his odds are going down. But Biden. I wonder
if the Biden comment on Charlemagne the God Show had moved anyone else's odds, because I mean, look, I don't know how you fuck up staying at home and not talking to anyone, but he figured it out.
Biden's odds has actually gotten 10 points better. He was plus 130 a week ago. Now he's plus 120. So Trump's still favored at minus 120.
You know what it is? I guess whenever these guys dig into their base and sort of just go, you're supposed to be with me, that's when they go, oh, yep, you're right. I guess, their numbers go up. It's the same thing with Trump. Whenever you're like, he just said, what? What did he say about fucking, I don't know, Mexican handicapped people? And all of a sudden his numbers go up because the base goes, fucking, we're sorry. You're right. We should be listening to you all the time. It's crazy. Look, I don't know how they're having an election here, I think in 2 weeks for a primary that was supposed to happen maybe like a month ago they moved it back. And, obviously they were like, why are they just canceling the primary? We obviously already know who the nominee is going to be, but I wonder if there's going to be different numbers attached because this is a big state, obviously. It's a giant demographic. So I wonder if numbers will be different because of stuff like that. We'll find out. I mean, look, I think it's going to be Biden and Trump, and I think that's going to be a shit show. If we're doing it via Zoom or we're doing like debates like this, the way we're doing our fucking podcast, it's going to be insane. I don't know how could you? I mean, we talk over each other and we can kind of see each other, and we've gotten good at it. They talk over each other when they're live right in front of each other. I mean, it's going to be just it's going to be a fucking zoo.
It's going to be.
Are you
great.
looking forward to it, or are you?
I'm looking forward to it.
Oh,
yeah. On top of that, it's like just a bunch of old people trying to figure out the technology, first of all. And then second, there's no one in the room to tell them to shut the fuck up when their time's up. It's going to be amazing.
I mean, you can literally get called out for cheating. Like, you have, by the way, just between us, and this is just between us listeners.
Just between us on this live podcast that's going out to whoever wants to listen.
Someone had a capital test, all the state capitals and their abbreviations and where they're located. And it was one of the final tests of the year. And so the whole family woke up this morning to help out with this test because, we had done a couple dry runs and, it's just tough to manage like this. And so we pulled out a map and kind of helped together. And guess what we got as a family? 3 wrong. We still got 3 wrong. We switched Vermont and New Hampshire as far as where they were located. And then somebody hit the Montana button instead of the Missouri button. We knew where Missouri was. We knew exactly what it was, but hit Montana instead of Missouri. So 3 wrong, 10th out of the 30-person class, 10th, which I think is great. To me, that says, you know what? Middle of the pack. We didn't cheat. We did the best we could. We're not perfect. We're human beings. We make mistakes. And we did. But it's like, how is that not going to go on in a presidential debate?
Absolutely.
When you have guys who can't remember what fucking, what time zone they're in.
That would be great if they made the presidential candidates just name the capitals.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, you want to talk about, did you guys see this, talking about Zoom cheating? Did you see the German Formula One driver that got caught? They were doing the e-racing. And I
heard about it, but I didn't.
He got dropped in real life. So he's saying now that he was doing it as a joke because he thought it was just an entertainment thing. It wasn't like a serious competitive thing. So he hired an 18-year-old professional like video gamer. And then you'd see the screen grab of the Zoom meeting where there's like 20 drivers all stacked up, and his has something blocking his face. So you see that there's a person there sitting and racing, but his face is blocked. And I guess during the race, some of the drivers were like, I don't think that's him. That's not Daniel, because he sucks. He hasn't done good all season. And like one of the drivers tried to call him during the race. He didn't answer. And he came in 3rd place. And the top 3 are supposed to do an interview. But while they're doing the interview with the top 3, his screen is just blacked out and he doesn't show up.
They blacked him out.
They ran like the IP address on his stream and figured out it was a completely different location. And so he had to apologize. He put out a big YouTube video and he got dropped by Audi, and he's basically never racing for that that league ever
Get
again.
the fuck. I'd be like,
Yeah.
I'm sorry for faking you out in the fake thing that we're all faking right now, because none of us are doing the real goddamn thing.
Yeah,
You're gonna
he is
drop me from driving a car
done.
because I pretended to drive a fucking fake car. No one in this fucking group's ever taken an Uber in their life. You fucking morons. You sellouts. What's wrong with you? They're raising money for charity. This isn't going
Yeah.
in anyone's pocket, right?
Oh,
Give
and they're
me a
demanding
break.
he's being fined $10K that's going to go to charity.
Fine, he's got to put 10K in, but Jesus, to lose a sponsorship to be called a, give me a break, dude.
Yeah.
That is outrageous. You want to talk about a fucking cheater? You look at Lance Armstrong, ladies and gentlemen. That man right there. Wow, did you watch that documentary?
Oh, yeah, of
Holy
course.
shit! I watched it twice. Once by myself, and then my wife wanted to watch it. And I watched it again, and I'm just like, look, here's the deal. That opening story he tells is so relatable to the story about where he's like, it's, you know, you're always waiting for someone to come up and say fuck you, you know, and it doesn't happen. You like, you know, a couple days after I came out and everything like that, and I felt I was like, oh my god, this is so similar to stuff that I've felt in my life. So he's like, you know, and he tells the story about 5 years later. He's like walking around, and he calls an Uber. He's leaving a bar, and he's about to get into it, and these guys in this bar were like, hey, Lance, fuck you. And then this whole group got up, and they're like, fuck you, you fucking cheater. And he's like, I got back in my car. My friend told me to get into the car because the old Lance would have, you know, maybe gone over and tried to fight them. But I got in the car, and he's like, and then I called the bar. And I paid for the drinks. And I said, the one stipulation is I want you to go over there and tell him this is on Lance, and he loves you. And he goes, and that's like the ultimate fuck you, I think. And to me, I'm watching that. I'm saying to myself, man, first of all, okay, but that's just a different level of competitiveness and a different level of I'll go narcissism, whatever it is, than I could even conceive. Because let me tell you, I've been narcissistic, and I have had those feelings before where I'm like, you know, no one can judge me, or no one can fucking, but you know in your heart when you've done something wrong and you feel like you've hurt people. And I don't think he really fucking believes that he has done anything wrong. I think he thinks that, you know, everybody cheated and so did he, and the lies were just necessary to keep everything going. But I can't wait to get into more of the cover up and the lies, and how he truly like wrecked people's lives. You know, really got in like people's careers gone, you know, what their livelihoods gone, all because they wouldn't, you know, they just poked holes in his story. So it was shocking to me that, you know, and basically coming off of the MJ doc, it's like where you're like, okay, this guy obviously had total control. He told the stories he wanted to tell. Stuff didn't get in that he didn't approve of, you know, and so is this the same thing? Is this coming off of that, where you have someone that's telling a very interesting story that everybody's really wants to know about, especially more of, and he's doing the interview and he seems to be very candid, but is he controlling the narrative? And even that one reporter says he's going to try to control the narrative. And even if he succeeded in controlling the narrative, the fact that he still feels that way and is willing to say it, almost, I mean, I don't want to say unremorseful, because I do believe he felt like he apologized and moved on, but there's still that level of guilt that I guess some people have, and he just doesn't have it, where it's like, you know, you just got to eat that. If someone did that to me, I would just go, fuck, all right, whatever, get in the car and drive away. There would be I wouldn't feel the need to like chisel them back or try to make them, I would just move on with my life. But that's what I found the most interesting about the doc, is that he, I believe, has control, and he just doesn't seem to mind. That's how he's coming off. I mean, arrogant. I've heard a couple of people I've talked to about it. Like, he just seems, you know, not likable still. Not that he was ever totally likable, but on a bike raising money for cancer, I guess anyone's likable. And plus, he married Sheryl Crow. Who doesn't love, you know, I love Sheryl Crow, but he just, even now, he doesn't seem likable. Not in the way that Jordan didn't seem likable. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Where it's like, hey, I had to do this to win at all costs. It's unlikable to the degree where you're like, oh, I'm not buying your apology, and I'm not really feeling any remorse at all, or I don't feel like you feel remorse. Did any of that? I don't know how you guys felt about that, but
No, I thought it was very interesting how very early on in the doc, they had all of his teammates or former teammates talk about how they cheated. Do you notice that? Like, he had 4 other teammates while he's also talking about cheating. They're like, they're asking, when did you start cheating?
First question out of everyone's mouth was like, out of the reporter's mouth was like, what age did you start taking, illegal drugs or whatever? And it was all, I think, to get that reaction of, oh, we're going to kind of, I think they wanted to establish credibility. Like, oh, we're not going to skirt the hard questions. We're going to get right into the stuff that people want to know. And, I think Lance sort of shrugged it off. The other guys seemed to be a little bit taken back. But so you're saying that was to add credibility, that everybody cheated. This wasn't me. And so this is just something that I did that everyone else has done. I think we'll never stop being fed that this entire how many hours this thing is going to be. And I think it's true, and it's very valid. But that's not even my beef. I still think that you could have, look, you could have done a lot of things, but I don't know how people get out of situations they get themselves into, but there has to be a better way than just making sure that people's lives are ruined just to keep your lie, going.
Did you ever see Alex Gibbs did a Lance Armstrong documentary? He's the guy that did the Going Clear, the Scientology doc, and then the Cubs 30 for 30.
Okay, I didn't see it.
It came out a few years ago, and he really went into how Armstrong pressured the people testifying against him.
Yeah.
And I'm really curious to see in this part too how they go after that.
Look, I didn't see that documentary, but I know just by, living kind of through it, reading stuff at the time that you just saw, you were like, man, this was way deeper than I had ever realized. That there were, I know there's a couple that, like, I think the guy killed himself because he just never got his point across and got the truth across that people now know is the truth. So it's, I hope they do it. I hope they do it justice and get into it. But again, it might go to like, this might be his resurrection piece where it's like, we all know I did it. We all know I fucked up. Here's how I'm moving on with my life. And so if they just glaze over it, it would suck,
But I think you're right. I think he's a little too arrogant to have that perspective. And I think he'll always be. That's what makes him the champion that he was.
Yeah, it really is. It's a difference. Look, again, just speaking from experience as someone who's fucked up and kind of had public about it, it's when you feel busted and you feel like everybody, like, to me, that's the point where you just go, oh, all right, listen, I'm sorry, I've hurt people. And then to kind of go from there and to dig in and go further and further and further, there's a different sort of mentality to that. And I understand, that there was a machine behind it and sort of a rationale that he put in his mind. Everyone's doing it, so why am I going to be the one to sit here and go, I'm a fucking cheater? I understand all the place you could put your mind, but it's how like physically, how does it make you feel? Like, those are the questions I want. Like, physically, did you physically have, every time you would stand in front of a courtroom or he would be, arraigned, and like they would literally just, blast him with question after question. When you went home, maybe there you faked it, but when you went home, did you physically like throw up or feel ill? And did that take a toll on yourself, or did you use it, as just more motivation and more fuel? I don't know, but I'm into it right now. It moved along, look, his fucking triathlete coach, right? Triathlon coach buries him in the first 15 minutes. Yeah. And this is a guy, if you're not a good person or a good kid growing up, like how are we expecting, like, what I'm saying? Like, if you're not even trying, if you're a fucking ass, like this is a guy who's trying to establish credibility of you as like a kid and like a hard worker and trying to make a name for himself. And he just buried you in the first 15 minutes of your own documentary. Can't feel good, so, and it doesn't look good.
And the stepdad was an interesting character too.
Yeah, the stepdad looks like a used car salesman. And, you know, and the stepdad coming in being like, look, 5 years of military school, which, by the way, doesn't sound like the right number. Like, it's either you go all, like 12 years of military school.
Yeah, he was kicked out.
Or like 4 years of military high school. Like 5 years means you either were fucked up and you had to go there and now you're reliving your own nightmare on your fucking stepson, or 5 years sounds like maybe you fucked up and got kicked out and now you're just trying to, you know, double down on this. Like, I don't give a shit about, like, that's just, all you just told me is how you got fucked up. You know, it's
but he really took pride in, like, you know, like, my dickhead is why he's good.
Yeah, I know. And then and even the gleam in his eye after he was like, and you know, I might even have to take a little bit of the fault for him working too hard or the taking it at all costs, you know. And he just smiled at the fucking camera. You're like, oh Jesus Christ!
Such a shit-eating grin.
Yeah. Now look, again, that might answer the question as to why Lance was such a fucking asshole growing up. You know, I mean, his mom was 15 years older than him, or whatever it was, 16 years older. So of course, you know, if your son's 17 years old in Bermuda, fucking up a motorcycle, but you're fucking 42 trying to have a wine party at your house and, you know, trying to have some fun. You're like, look, my kid can do whatever they want. We're basically best friends. Leave him alone. You know, you're picking on my best friend. Let him do what he wants to do. He's better than you at everything. So look, there was a lot of immaturity that played into it. But I mean, it's remarkable when you say, like, I just like how he started off being like, you know, Texas is the big football, big sports, and I wasn't good at football or basketball or baseball or any of those, and I had to find something else, and they threw him in the pool, and he continued to work. And I'm glad, like, I'm glad that you get to hear that part of the story where you're like, how did you find your superpower? But what I want to know is, how did you use this other superpower for bad? I'm just as interested in that. I want to see that part. I hope we get to. What is it, next week, Sunday? Is it, and that's it then, or no?
Yeah, I think that's it. And then I think a Bruce Lee one after that. I mean, I've been thinking a lot about this Brady one. I'm really not going to give a shit about that one when that comes out. The 9-parter, you know, that was announced a couple days after Jordan.
Yeah.
I mean,
9 parts.
What did it do?
Yeah.
Cover last year's season?
I think, and you know, he's of course been filming up the last 20 years of his career, but it's just, there's something special about the Jordan doc that can't be replicated.
No, and but look, I'm glad. I like documentaries. I'm into them. They're you know, they're interesting. They're time fillers. I'd rather watch a doc about something I don't know sports wise than maybe an old game. But yeah, I mean, for me, if you're going to do, like, coming off of the doc, of the Jordan doc, I understand it's probably the next biggest one you have, but maybe putting the programming wise, putting the Bruce Lee doc in between and then the Lance doc, so it's like you're not putting them back to back, where you have these two iconic figures with obvious control over their narrative, explaining it to us and trying to shape everything and then you hear, you know, peripheral stuff of what's not true and what's true in the background. And, you know, it's tough to put them next to each other. I would have think, like, I'm sure the Bruce Lee doc, they're not trying to, like, talk about what an asshole Bruce Lee was. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. I think, right? Or is that?
No,
Right?
I've always been told he's a perfect human being in every way you can.
Yeah. I mean, unless that's the thing, is to knock him down, and that's what the doc is for, then all right, then I'm wrong. You got to throw him where you throw him. But maybe it's a palate cleanser after Jordan. You throw Bruce Lee in there, and then you throw Lance, because, like, I'm still kind of comparing the two mentalities in my mind. And look, I'll be honest with you, even coming off the Jordan doc, I don't even know if I said this last week, but there's parts that I thought that were missing from that. Like, you know, I would have liked to have seen maybe a whole hour dedicated to how he was taught in college. When, you know, it was a sentence. It was, you know, Dean Smith going, he got here, he wasn't a great player, he had a lot of raw athletic ability, and then he worked his ass off, and he came back, and next year he was the best player on the team. okay, you got to give me a little bit more of what happened in that year. Obviously, there were drills and hard work. Did someone get his ear? Did someone say, hey, you don't have to have the best jump shot. You can use this. You can use that. Like whatever it was that he developed there in that year or year and a half that made him infinitely better than everybody else. What was that? That's what I was looking for and missing in the Jordan doc. What I'm looking for in this Lance one is how did you, and even if it's, because I'll tell you, it's probably the most uncomfortable shit for him to talk about. You know? He even says in this one, I think at one point, he's like, you want to torture me. You put me down in front of the guy that lied, you know, the guy that in those depositions, and watch those depositions come at you. He's like, I can't, that makes me like sick to my stomach. And what I want to know is how did you feel that day doing it? That's kind of you know what I'm saying? That's the thought I want to get into.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. By the way, Tom Brady should not be doing his doc right now. Because
No.
it's not over. It's not even over. First of all, I know it won't include what happened this past Sunday because that was not documentary worthy at all. We all thank God they didn't charge us for this one because I would have asked my money back for sure. I mean, Tom Brady made me feel like I was like, fuck, I'm not that bad. It's not that bad for me. Like it looked. I was trading calls with Court McCowan because we played that course and I had a bad day that day, kind of like Tom Brady did. And I think someone was saying, I think it was J.J. Watts, like, if Tom Brady doesn't throw a club in the next 10 minutes, this is remarkable. And I remember probably right around the 7th or 8th hole having that same feeling where I'm like, okay, nothing is working. And I was playing with Jesper Parnevik, Richard Johnson, who was on the tour at the time, Court, myself, 2 pros, 2 members at the club, and one guy who's caddied for both of them, and then me. And and you know that feeling where you're like, oh, I'm letting myself down, but everyone else is having a bad time because they don't even know what to say to me. And I remember having that feeling of taking the club and hitting a bad shot and being like, I have to let it all out right now, and going to snap it, and then stopping and being like, first of all, don't. Because all I'm going to do is embarrass myself even more in front of these guys. And what if there's a no club or throwing it? Like, you can't do that, act like an animal at someone's beautiful golf course that they've let you in. You can't, like, I realized that in that very, very split second. Obviously, Tom Brady knows that way before he even gets on the course because he's much more mentally fit than I am. So he just smiled it all off. But I would have loved to have been inside of his mind and just he had this evil that he had flowing through his brain when he couldn't get a ball to. Tiger will play those 2 guys for 9 holes down the middle, and it's going to hook it. I'm going to shape it in. I think it was 12 that he put it in from like 140 out in the fairway. And then my wife goes, oh, we're not getting, because if you got a hole in one, every American was going to get a 6-pack of Michelob Light. And so she thought that was a hole in one. I was like, that's not a hole in one. But yeah, I'm glad that they talked a little bit of shit, even on the range when they asked Peyton who his caddy would be if they had one. And he said, it'd be a tough choice. Belichick would be a good one. And he's like, but I guess I'd have to go with probably either my brother or Nick Foles, Big Dick Nick. He's like, I don't know, one of those 3 guys would probably be great. So they were talking shit. I like the tweets coming in. I think Drew Brees challenged all of them. He's like, let me do this next time because you guys suck. And then I like Russell Wilson losing $300,000, calling in all smiling on I think it was the 16th hole or 17th, it's a par 3. And he's like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to give 100,000 meals for anyone that gets it within 12 feet of the hole. Well, TB 12 threw a fucking dart in there for the first time the whole day to about 12 feet, 8 feet. And then Peyton almost fucking dunked it about 1.5 feet away. And then Phil Mickelson dropped one in there about 4 feet. And then Tiger hit the worst shot. He was about 20 feet away. $300 grand out the door. And every time someone hit it in, you could see Russell like, hey, great. Oh, look at that. Another one. Cool. 300 grand. Well, Wheels Up said I only had 100 grand to give, so maybe we have to adjust the settings on this a little bit. Because, they probably like, hey, you know what, Russell, call in. Because I think he's the part owner of that Wheels Up private jet corporation that sponsored it. We'll give you 100 grand to give away on air. And then he probably was like, great, one of these fucking knuckleheads is a little close. Maybe Tiger, maybe Phil, maybe I'll have to go into my pocket for 100 grand. But he certainly didn't think he was going to give away 300 grand. I'm sure of that. Another nervous quarterback in that moment. Very nervous, I believe. Sierra's probably like, what the fuck did you do, Russell? What did you do? And then she just puts him between her legs and just crushes his head like a fucking vice until he can't breathe anymore. And then Pete Carroll calls and goes, let him out. I need him. Let him out.
It's a very
We've
odd
gone off
fantasy,
the rails
Steve.
today, guys.
Very odd fantasy.
All right. What are you guys excited about?
Eli on Twitter.
Oh, look at this.
Have you seen it?
Yes, I have. How about the Rangers making it into the playoffs? And let me tell you something right now. If this thing goes down, I'm taking the Rangers as a dark horse because I think that team was just starting to play pretty well. And they weren't going to make the playoffs, or they might have, but they might. Now they will, and I think they can get hot. So.
Honestly, I don't see how any of the top 4 seeds in each conference can win because they've taken more time off than they ever have in their entire careers. And the other teams, they're going to have the advantage of actually playing hockey again for, 3 to 5 games. So they have a huge.
Which team? You're saying that? The first seed.
Once this starts, the top 4 seeds basically get a bye week, or they get a bye series. They don't have to play. So the top 4 seeds in each conference, there's 12 teams in each conference. Only 8 are going to play a best-of-5 series, and then the top 4 from those.
But no one's going to be playing before that. Is what I'm saying.
No one's going to be playing.
Basically,
no.
The question is, would you rather play live games, or practice?
I'd rather do live games. There's a difference. The game speed and everything, it's different. You can kind of simulate in practice, but definitely the teams that are actually going to be playing first are the ones that I would put money on. I wouldn't touch Boston, Tampa Bay, Washington, Philly, St. Louis. Yeah, I wouldn't touch those guys.
I mean, I see your point as being live competitive games, but I think that you can simulate a practice. I mean, what would it say, like, if I was one of those teams, I'd be like, hey, call in one of the 17 that didn't make the playoffs and just have them come and we'll practice. I mean, I don't, there's going to be obviously rules about who can.
Yeah, they can't do that.
Contact.
There's going to be 2 locations. Everyone's going to be taken there. They're going to regulate the hotel, how many people you can have, transportation, like everything. And then there's going to be constant testing and temperature taking. So I don't know.
Well, the NHL's got a problem because the NHL's married to this whole. Well, they've come out publicly and been like, we're not going to give tests away. Or we don't want to take tests away from people that need tests. So, like if people can't get tests still, like normal, regular people, like how is the NHL going to justify testing someone who has no asymptomatic, no symptoms whatsoever, like a healthy hockey player, twice a day and burning those tests? So, and to buy tests is going to be like tens of millions of dollars. So, I think there's going to be a little bit of a pause. Look, it's exciting that they actually put a bracket out and this is how we'll do it and like a plan, but I still think there's a lot more hurdles to jump over. Like, the way MLB was like, we're going to come out, we'll figure it out, and and now it's taken like a week or 2 to start to be like, let's really get down to the nuts and bolts of it. I think hockey players are tougher, obviously, than baseball players, and it's going to be a lot less of a money situation. But, it's still going to be not easy to do, to have this happen. And so late July, early August, that's probably what they said they were going to try to kick this thing off if they have it, right? That'll be good because, most cases will be down everywhere. But, if there's still a big need for tests, I can't see the NHL being like, fuck it, we're still burning off 10,000 a day. The NBA is going to go down to, Disneyland or Disney World which makes a lot of sense to me because ESPN has the biggest contract with the NBA out of everyone, and ESPN's owned by Disney. So it's like we're just helping ourselves. We're just trying to get cash back into our pocket. So if they can get all the teams down there and play in those 3 arenas, that to me, I mean, I don't know if the NBA players want to come back and even play. It seems like that sport, it takes the longest to get your body back up and running again and healthy and not have like injuries right away. So I think they would need like 2 or 3 weeks of practice again. But that seems like the best plan, almost making it like a gigantic college campus. Now it will be gigantic, probably 10,000 people in there when you have like families and but if you could just keep everyone, make it like a little village, you'll probably have the ability to get it off and not have to do testing as badly if everyone just quarantines together in Disneyland.
Mm-hmm.
But the NHL as a 24, like, do you like the fact that they're just gonna fuck the regular season and just go straight to the playoffs, or do you have a problem with that?
I don't have a problem with it, but I do have a problem with the fact that the Sabres once again will not make the playoffs. And if it was this format every year, they wouldn't have made the playoffs the last 7 years, and they're retaining their GM.
Well, that's a disgruntled fan. You have a problem with one.
But no,
one
I like this
team.
format. I think it's cool. I'm just happy to see hockey. I don't want to see another, thing on the Stanley Cup that says season not played or season canceled due to pandemic. Let's play and let's see what happens. Let's get live sports back.
Have you looked at the odds?
No, but
I'm looking right now. Of course, Boston's favored, like you said.
I don't see one of the top 4 seeds making it past the first round. They're just going to be at a huge disadvantage.
Well, now the Rangers are plus 5,000. They're one of the bottom half.
Yeah, put $100 on them.
I'm telling you right now, I like the Rangers getting together. They're young and stupid. That's the best way to be. And kind of a 24 team, like, just let's get hot for a month. Fuck yeah.
Let's each do a bracket.
Lundqvist needs to win a cup.
Oh, I would love that. Oh my God.
That guy, I mean,
even if he's on the bench, I would still love him to win a cup.
I've watched so many like best moments in sport videos in the last month and a half, and he's literally on the shit end of every clip that involves the Rangers. He's in goal getting scored on in double overtime to lose the cup, and just
yeah,
that
tough.
poor
It's
fucking
like
guy
watching
is so good.
Eli. Yeah.
Lundqvist,
really
is that a Swedish or Danish last name?
No, that's a Swedish name, and you know who's not from Sweden? Our friend Casper, who's from Denmark, right across the Norwegian Sea, I believe.
Big difference.
The Nordic Sea, whatever it is. Nordic Sea. I got to get over to Europe once this thing opens up, guys. I want to go over and get European COVID. I want to talk to you guys and do some comedy over there. But yeah, that's people keep saying, like, one person will write me on Instagram, you should come to Russia. And I'm like, to hang with you? That's because you're the only person I know in Russia.
Bert's already done that bit, so.
Yeah.
I know. What am I going to do? I can't even come back with an interesting story. It can't happen. I'm excited about the fact that something could come back. I was excited to watch this golf thing this past weekend just to see some sort of competitive. But the guys are wearing shorts, and you could tell it was raining out. I want to see like real golf again with caddies and people going at each other in tournaments, a 4-day tournament. That's coming in June. And I mean, as far as like things to look forward to, they don't even have the hot dog eating contest now. I don't know. What else do we have, really? What do we have?
We could do our own hot dog eating contest.
Yeah. I challenge you both. I know I'll win.
Well, that's a great idea, but we do have to decide on our brand of hot dog. I don't want people going rogue on hot dogs, okay? I don't want to be eating 8 inches of hot dog when you guys have like the bun length 4 inches.
Farmer John.
Oh, is that an Iowa hot dog you guys grew up on?
It's
Nathan's.
I mean, I'll eat any hot dog. I'll cut it up into baked beans, macaroni and cheese. I'll do it any white trash, homeless way. I love hot dogs.
All right, we'll do a 10-minute hot dog eating contest for the week of July 4th. With our Wednesday podcast of that week. Well, that's something to look forward to. Holy shit! Look at us. We just changed everyone's whole demeanor now. Something to look forward to. I was trying to think of what else I had to talk about. The Garden. I'm looking at my notes. The Garden, the Capitals, the cheating. Yep. That's it for me. You guys have anything else you want to talk about? Do you have any shows you're watching now? Because I just started watching. I've been watching a shit ton of Shark Tank. Has anyone come up with this idea?
I love that show.
Has anyone ever come up with this idea? Hey, sharks. Everyone loves to have fun in the summer, right? And one of the most fun activities is to go swimming in your pool. And maybe you're like me and you have a dog with long nails and you're afraid if your dog jumps into the water, he may rip your liner. I'm going to present you puppy paws. These are gloves that you put on your dog's paws, and that way they can, like flippers, they can swim in the water with you, and they can get in and out of the water without ripping up your liner.
It's like kitten mittens.
1.5. What?
It's like kitten mittens. Do you watch It's Always Sunny?
Let him finish the pitch before you rip his soul out.
No,
Jesus.
keep going.
Emma's not investing, obviously.
Kill all the momentum.
No, I'm in. I love
I was
kitten
just
mittens.
I was just about to give you my pitch of for 1% of my company, I'm looking for $1.5 million, and I'm looking for the Joe Rogan deal. It's what I'm really looking for. If you want to own my company, you can have. I need it's $100 million. But puppy paws are turn your dog into a frog.
You should do it.
So who's in?
I'm down.
No one.
I'll throw in $1 million.
Thank you.
I can
Thank
give
you,
you like
buddy.
$20.
Do you not think this is a good idea, though?
I'll give you 1,000.
I don't think it's a bad idea, but how many people actually, one, have above ground pools that have that like squishy lining that you can rip?
Well, number one, on the East Coast, and I don't know from how
Is
wet
that all they have?
the East Coast. Yeah, we don't because they close their pools up like
Yeah,
in
there's
the
a lot
winter.
of above ground pools on the East Coast. And
So
those like
they-
blow up blue ones.
You can't put gunite in because it'll crack if it freezes. You know what I'm saying? So they put those liners in. It's like more malleable. But if they rip, they're expensive. So that's why. I mean, look, I guess it's for an East Coast product. I'm looking for an East Coast investor for puppy paws.
Hell yeah.
I mean, trust me, I think it's a great idea.
Especially during
Anyone
a
out
pandemic.
there? People are looking to do something, right? And if people want to swim with their dogs. I'm watching a shit ton of Shark Tank. I watched what did I watch? Obviously the Lance thing the other night. I watched Billions. I'm into that. You into Billions? And then I'm doing HBO stuff. But yeah, what's going on? Oh, Magic for Humans. I love that show. Justin Williman. He's the magician comedian guy. You ever watch that show on Netflix, Magic for Humans?
Yeah, he's great.
Great one for the kids. We always sit down and watch it together. So that's a good one. But yeah, everything else is just sort of, we're surviving.
Steve, are you still learning magic?
You know what? I put a pause button in that. I'm going to pick it up again once the summer starts on Friday for us.
Like 10-minute lessons, and there's 14 of them. And you're like, I got through 3. I'm a magician now.
Well, I did catch Justin's a couple of his French drops. I was like, oh, I know how he did that. It's a French drop right there. Very easy to spot now that you know what it is. And so I'll pick it back up again. They have the coin tricks and a couple other card tricks I want to get done. But yeah, the kids' school ends on Friday is our last day. So once that's over, I'll have a little more time on my hands.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. How are you guys bettering yourselves? Are you building gardens or trying to learn something?
I went and did shrooms in the desert this weekend.
Oh my God.
Is that bettering myself?
I want to do shrooms on July 4th. That's my birthday.
You should.
And it's also Ari Shafir's Shroom Fest, 3rd, 4th, and 5th this year.
Do it just before our hot dog eating contest.
Yeah, that sounds wild.
That sounds
minute 7, the hot dog's trying to eat Steve.
I know. I'll be crying. I'll be eating hot dogs crying.
They're crying back at me.
I'm very emotional. I could totally use a nice dose of mushrooms right
Yeah,
now. Just to go to the desert.
honestly thinking about, we're talking about driving to the East Coast this next week, so maybe I'll meet up with you. We'll do some shrooms somewhere in New York.
Yeah, let me know. I'll meet you on Shelter Island,
Fuck
somewhere
yeah.
in the middle. Yeah,
Let's do
we'll
it.
meet in Providence and do mushrooms.
I was
Fuck
literally
yeah.
laying in the desert looking at the night sky. I found my home planet. It was calling to me.
Oh man, I want to talk to some people. I miss people. I got emotions to go through. Like a
Let's go through some emotions.
like a Dewey Decimal System of emotions. I got some cards to put back. Oh, all right. I miss you guys.
Miss you too.
I miss your faces. I can't wait to hug you again. I've got water bottles for you all. I'm not going to ship them to you because I want to give them to you face to face.
Fair enough.
But
I don't want that water bottle unless you hand it to me in person. I want your germs on the water bottle. I want to see them in my hand.
Ladies and gentlemen, the coronavirus was killed, but one man decided to bring it back with giving away water bottles filled with coronavirus to 3 of his friends. Let's thank our Patreon members.
This just
thank
in. Coronavirus is actually caused by puppy paws. They're the leading spreader of coronavirus. Dogs are now the new spreader, and all dogs have coronavirus.
All dogs do not go to heaven. They die of coronavirus because of puppy paws. Thanks to our Patreon members for always supporting us, giving us your money every month, for letting us do what we do. As far as gigs are concerned, I think they're starting to come back. People are going on the road. I haven't heard any reports. I have some phone calls out to some people. I will be starting up maybe sometime August, September area. So Lucas looks like he's about to be murdered or something. But yeah, do you guys have any gigs or anything you want to plug? Is there anything you'd like to plug or no?
Support All Things Comedy. Follow all the shows. Listen to them.
All
support the comics.
Oh, Mark Norman's got a new special. It's free on YouTube. I think it's called, I don't know, something. It's Mark Norman. He's funny. Just go check it out.
Nate Craig as well. Nate Craig just released his
Craig.
special on All Things Comedy's YouTube.
Great comic, Nate Craig. Check that one out as well. Thank you for listening this week, everyone. And we'll be back next week. Later.
Bye.